Welcome back, Mr. Goodberry. The First Star Logistics studio is fully equipped and ready to record.
Welcome back to Bengals On The Brain, presented by First Star Logistics. I'm your host, Joe Goodberry, and this is episode 198. And I don't know why I'm counting to episode 200. I just feel like it's a mile mark that we're hitting, and it's fun to be at episode 200. And probably by the time we're done with all of this, by the time the season's finished, 250 at least. So we've got a game coming up Monday versus the Commanders. That'll be like the getting ready for the regular season. Maybe we'll see the Bengals starters for a full first half versus the Commanders, but we're not there yet because of the wackiness of the preseason schedule. The Bengals played Thursday, and then they don't play again until Monday night. We're getting 2 film review episodes of the game versus the Eagles, so I'm not done with that yet. Maybe you've turned the page, but preseason is for evaluation, and that's what we're going to do. If you missed the last episode, we looked at Amarius Mims, Lucas Patrick, and Dylan Fairchild, and we all came away with the same thing. Fairchild looking good, great rook, good first exposure. Mims, makes things look easy, but I'd like a little bit more out of him. We all would. He's first round pick. His potential is here, so we want to get there because you have that ability to be there. And then Lucas Patrick, not a great first showing. We're probably going to see him at least one more time with the starters, it looks like, based on camp and what's been going on. We'll talk about that for a second too. And I think a lot of people are at this point like, get a guard, go sign another guard, go get Dalton Risner. Brandon Scherff has retired apparently, based on reports. Bengals, from what I heard, were kept tabs on him, like, let us know if you're not going to retire, and he retired, so that's out of the window. That leaves basically Dalton Risner because Will Hernandez re-signed with the Cardinals, if we didn't talk about that, which I don't think we did. That's it, Risner. Like, bring them in, let them compete. Because we've already seen Cody Ford now being adjusted back to swing tackle after Jalen Rivers didn't look good there. And we're seeing Cordell Volson getting some reps with the second-team centers, as well as they're trying to bring back McLaughlin and Matt Lee from injury. They kind of need to know who that backup center is going to be. And Volson seems to be making the team, but not really getting a chance to start at right guard. So, figure it out. Bring in one more guy for us, please. Putting a cap on the offensive talk there and let you know what we're doing in this episode. The defense was not good, but I thought they got better. I think Zach Taylor was correct when he said the second half of the defense played better, and I would agree with that. But there are some positives to take away, and we need some check-ins on a couple of these. So one is going to be a positive. Maybe 2 of them are positive. And then the third one is a check-in. So we've got 2 second-year defensive tackles, Chris Jenkins and McKinley Jackson. We spent a lot of time last year looking at film on them, evaluating them, figuring out, are these flashes something we're going to see more consistently? What should they be? What can they be? How do you use them to maximize them? I'll tell you right now, I think Chris Jenkins had the best defensive performance of anyone on the Bengals team last week. So that's a fun film to watch. McKinley Jackson, he's getting like reps with the third stringers. He's getting reps deep into the fourth quarter. He's also getting reps with starters in camp too. I did save some clips and post some of those at Joe Goodberry for subscribers. But there's other beat reporters have the footage, so you can find it if you want to dig through it all, or trust me, whatever, either way. But McKinley Jackson had a great day. PFF thought he had a great day. And to see Howard Cross play above him, when I thought Cross was whatever, he had a couple flashes of athleticism because that's what he is. But having his first game, PFF thought he was one of the worst defenders against the Eagles. There's a whole conversation there, and I think we'll have it on the back half of the film review. And then we're going to check in on Shamar Stewart and his first reps. We did a lot of Shamar Stewart talk this offseason. Of course, first round pick. We did 2 film reviews of him, Texas A&M, one before the draft, one after the draft. Then we had the contract drama. Then we reviewed his first day at camp. Now we're doing his first game in a Bengals uniform. And he had a pressure and a hit on the quarterback, and he had a tackle for a loss. So great. There's a lot of other things to talk about, but it gives us a check-in to let us know where we're at in the evaluation process, because we're trying to predict and understand what the upside of these guys may be. And I think Shamar is going to play a ton on this defense as a rookie. So what can we expect from him? What does he do? I think it's becoming clearer and clearer. So it's going to give us a benchmark for if his upside is here, right? Like Mims, his upside's up there. But if he's still right here, it'll give us a benchmark of what to expect. And then we'll be able to see that improvement if he improves on, I think everything's on this film. So it'll give us an idea of where he's at and what we can look forward to throughout the whole season. So that's a lot of talking to say. We've got film to watch. Let's dive in now. Starting it off with all of the Chris Jenkins plays, the top plays here. He made a lot of them, actually. I think in the review, the initial reaction post or video we had here, I said 3 or 4 plays. It was probably 5 to 7 plays, depending on how high you are on some of these. But number 90, if you don't remember, Chris Jenkins is going to take this guy on, shut him off, and help make the tackle. And again, he was always good against the run at Michigan. That was his specialty. And we wonder what his pass rush upside will be. So these plays aren't surprising, but the consistency of them and stringing them together is what's nice. As the run is looking like it's supposed to come this way, right? We're going to get guys setting the edges here. So the running back's reading those correctly and saying, okay, I've got to either cut back here, which Logan Wilson's going to fill, or I need to cut back here, which we got a linebacker there as well. So as Jenkins is flowing this way, you're going to see at some point he's going to create length and space, and he's going to peek his eyes back this way to get an eye on the ball carrier, which is something a lot of defensive tackles need to do and struggle with at times. And you see it right there and how he sheds him off and helps make this run. Now the linebacker was there, and I think that was Demetrius Knight doing his job, but Jenkins, we like that. We will take that. Again, working his way for another stop here. I'm going to pause this, though, and I want to just bring up Joseph Ossai because everyone knows I love Joseph Ossai, number one. One of the reasons is his motor. Absolutely fantastic. This guy is, he plays hard. And so let's watch him come down this line real fast. As he's unblocked, he has to check to make sure the quarterback doesn't keep it and watch him leave his feet and really go for this thing. That's what he's got to do. And there's multiple guys there that did their job, and I want to highlight them all. So I'm going to go back again, and we're going to watch this as Chris Jenkins, eyes on Chris Jenkins. Again, the run looks like a zone run heading this way. Jenkins is going to get his eyes inside and then disengage with the right tackle here. And you'll see it right there. Eyes in. Now he realizes fully, right? He's like, yeah, this run's going this way. Let me get off. And as he does, the guy actually holds on to Jenkins. So Jenkins is going to have to break this, use those hands. Let's see. There you go. Swipe off of him. Help make that tackle for minimal gain. This is a goal line situation, so we need our defenders to play really well. And Jenkins does his job. The next guy here is TJ Slayton at the nose. And I think Slayton is going to be a great fit with the Bengals. He was working on 56, the right guard here. I think is that Tyler Steen? Anyways, as he's creating some space, he's full in control. Eyes are on the running back here. As he understands the run is probably going to go right here and he's on the wrong side, the one thing you can do is try and blow right through your blocker there and close that lane. And that's what we're going to see where Slayton does as he pushes 56 into that hole and then makes the tackle. There's one other guy to point out on this play because it wasn't all bad. It's the guy setting the edge here, right here. And it looks like 44 to me. Let's be sure before we, yeah, and that's Knight. That's Demetrius Knight. So setting the edge, making sure you don't go too far outside. The running back doesn't go too far outside and making a play. Again, on Chris Jenkins, if you saw the circle there, Jenkins, again, really good job getting his eyes on the ball carrier. 3 plays in a row here. And he's going to help make this tackle at the line of scrimmage for nothing. Let's watch him again as he goes inside, makes contact. You see the helmet's buckle. Again, can we point out TJ Slayton? Great body positioning, really standing up the center or left guard. I think it's a left guard here. And both these defensive tackles staying on their feet, staying in position. Another guy we're going to have to point out in this run play here as they're pulling the right guard, 56. You see them pulling the right guard right here. As he comes out, he's going to have to get Joseph Ossai right here. Watch Ossai. He's going to take this lead blocker on and really set the edge. We're not letting you get outside there. Bang. Now look at that hole. The second blocker that's supposed to be the lead blocker cannot get through there because Jenkins has great positioning because Slayton has great positioning because Osai comes in and really squeezes this. There is nowhere for this running back to go, which is why this goes for almost nothing. But Jenkins does a great job. So does Osai and so does Slayton. Everyone gets off their blocks also at the point and helps make this tackle go for almost nothing. So again, eyes on Jenkins on the left side here. Eyes again. He's inside, right? Jenkins keeps locking these guys out and peeking. He's doing a great job of doing this. Play after play after play. It's something that I've said other defensive tackles have struggled with. Even Walter Nolan, when we were doing pre-draft stuff, was something I thought he struggled with, knowing where the ball carrier is. And you can see him here, right? He's peeking and discarding this player, this 64 here. Watch him in slow motion here. He's going to lock him out, stack, peek, and then shed. All right, the run's going that way. Bang. Great play, right? We got a guy here that's also making a big play for the defense. He's getting tackled, but he's also the one that's forcing it. I'm going to make sure it is. It's Oren Burks. That's what I thought. Yep. So Oren Burks is going to come in and really squeeze this and not let 74 get that block as Miles Murphy comes down unblocked. Joseph Osai helps get in there and make the play too. So now we're getting some pass rush situations. This is where we need to see Jenkins take that next step. We've seen in camp him have a whole bunch of flashes against Lucas Patrick, some versus Dylan Fairchild. Looks like he may have taken a step, but how big of a step has he taken? He's using his agility here to make him go outside, then back in. We got to knock that hand down, and it looks like he does. Now I have a nice clean rip here. I can't really, you see how it got locked up there? If you get a nice cleaner move there, still, I like that he's penetrating and getting into the backfield. Another run play for Chris Jenkins. I think we got one more pass rush coming up. But he's taking on this double team. Eyes on the running back to the outside, and we're going to slow it down and then helps make the tackle. So let's go all the way back to the beginning. Let's watch it without me messing it up. Taking on the double team. Eyes inside, right? Eyes outside because the running back bounced that way. And then now drive through the ball carrier through the blocker into the ball carrier. So a lot of guys doing their job here from linebacker, from Logan Wilson. Watch Logan Wilson come through right here. He's going to knife in and go, I want to say this way. And I think Joseph Osai is going to come from this side. And they're really going to squeeze this hole that this running back thought he had at some point here. As you see Osai, again, taking on this lead blocker. He is a high motor guy, and he's going to give it all. That's why he's probably been hurt as much as he has, because he goes a little bit too hard. And all those guys are going to clean that up and keep this run from going too far. All right, Jenkins getting another pass rush here. He's going to get that punch right to the chest, chops, and stay with the play. So we'd like to see the hand usage. Really, when that guy wants to strike like that, that's your chance to hit it and attack that positioning. He wasn't fast enough to do it. The lineman got a good punch on him, but he stays with the quarterback and hurries with him and gets that throw to be incomplete. Now we're on to McKinley Jackson. Let's go back here. I want to make sure I set this up correctly. So that was all Chris Jenkins. I thought he was fantastic. Like, you watch those plays and you tell me Chris Jenkins doesn't look completely better. It's backup offensive lineman for the Eagles. But Jenkins was a backup, and he's largely a backup spot starter role player for the team right now. If that's who he is this year, I'm much more excited for him, especially against the run. All right, McKinley Jackson playing a lot of nose. So if he's out there still late in the game, it's because he's the backup nose tackle, in my opinion. That is why he's still out there in the preseason. Nose, meaning if you're over the center or directly to either gap, that you're the nose tackle, right? You're going to take on double teams all the time. But he's an interesting player because he's a penetrator, and he's a penetrating nose. I don't know how they're going to use him, but he got in the backfield a bunch in this game. And there he is right away, right off rip. He realizes, okay, I've got some time here. Get between both, squeeze between the two of them, make the tackle for a loss in the backfield. Most nose tackles can't get upfield like that. So it's a good thing to have McKinley Jackson that can do that, but it makes him an odd player. Now we've got everyone attacking the run here. I mean, got this guy coming down, our ends kicking inside. Braylon Lux is coming out to the outside. Like, we are attacking, right? But eyes on McKinley Jackson. Again, I think his eyes are on the running back. We're doing a good job locating the running back. Something I think the defense struggled with in run defense last year is they put, even when they were sound in their positioning, no one knew where the back was. And then he'd squirt out and pick up 5 yards. And it's like, come on, someone's got to make a play here. But McKinley Jackson, his eyes are staying with it. Braylon Lux, again, I think they're developing this guy to be a future Mike Hilton. And I know it's a lot of praise, but this is a quicker, faster Mike Hilton too, wearing 21. But the way they were run blitzing him, I think they're going to get him on the practice squad. And then in a year, let's see what Braylon Lux looks like. But McKinley Jackson, still eyes on the running back, right? Playing his position, helps make this tackle for nothing. Eyes on him completely now as we slow it down. Takes on the double team. What's he do to 64 right there? He holds up 64 from kicking out and getting Lux. Because if 64 gets out here and washes Lux down the field, what's this gap look like for the running back? Huge, right? So McKinley Jackson is a nose tackle. You've got to tie up 2 guys. You can't let them get up and get to the second level defender. So Jackson does a great job there, not allowing that, and then staying on his feet, staying with the flow of the play, and making that tackle for a loss for no gain. Big play. Little power pass rush here. I want to go back, watch that again. Actually, I don't think I slowed that one down for us, but power, initial power, right? He has that. So that's good to see. All right, next play. We got a pass rush situation from the nose tackle spot. And you don't get a ton of chances to do this as a nose tackle, backup nose tackle. But you see as he gets upfield there, we need to clean. Oh, there's a clean move. We need a clean move. We got to knock the hand down. He does a good job. Now, I think we got an arm over, or is it a rip? Let's see. I didn't remember what it was here. Let's see. Was it a rip or an arm over? It's a try to be a rip. He gets squeezed between the two, between the guard and the center. But, he still fights through it, stays on his feet. He's clawing, man. He's banging into 3 offensive linemen at one time here and still gets a hand out in front and almost touches the face mask of the quarterback. Not that we want that, but it shows that he is still getting in there. All right, we got a run play. It looks like taking on 2 blockers. Again, hand on each one of them. Can I keep my guy free? Can I keep John Meta free underneath here? Look at that. Did you see him? Did you see with a hand on both guys? Let's do it again. I'm going to slow it down, actually. I hit the microphone, sorry. But I'll slow it back down as McKinley Jackson gets in on this run stop. So not only is he taking on 2 guys, like, look at this. He's got them both by the collar. They're not going anywhere. Neither of the linemen are trying to break his block either. And he's doing his job here. And look at him right there. At that point, this guy would like to release to the second level and get to John Meta. He'd like to get up here. Jackson's not letting him. And sure, this could be defensive holding or whatever, but that's the nose tackle's job. And his eyes, again, locked on the running back, which is why he's able to say here, one more shove to the, I hit the mic again. I'm getting fired. This is preseason for me. But one more shove. I'm getting excited. That's why trench play. I'm into it. One more shove to that guard there. I think it is the guy on the left side of him to right into the back of getting the running back right and pushing him right into his back. Bam. And then shedding him and helping make the tackle. Guys, that's a great play from a nose tackle. People were saying after the game, maybe McKinley Jackson doesn't make the team. He's making the team. And if he's not, he's making another team. Don't make the same mistake that we made with Andrew Billings. He was a free agent. But the flashes were always there. Keep developing McKinley Jackson. The high-end plays are there. Again, we're standing that guy up. We're ripping, and we're getting to the backfield. Bring it back, slow motion. Lock him out. Rip. And now you're in the backfield. If Isaiah Thomas didn't run into you, you probably make that tackle on your own, but instead you get an assisted tackle for a loss. Now he's going to have a missed tackle for a loss here. I went back and grabbed this one too. That's why the circle's different. But again, the center's going to try to get to him. I think it's the center, or is it the guard? Yeah, it's the guard. The guard's going to try to get to him. He's going to lock him out, and his eyes are in the backfield, but he's going to miss. So what happens here? We got a missed tackle for a loss. Good job locking out the lineman. Eyes in the backfield. And then we're going to completely whiff. How do these things happen? Well, the run is supposed to go this way. Again, our ends are doing a great job of taking on that lead blocker. But the run is we're supposed to get a seal here. This guy's going to come up and get a seal here. We're sealing on this side. So if we get a seal here, this run could go right between. So the run is supposed to go where the orange line is, making a mess. The run's going to go where the orange line is. So McKinley Jackson knows that. And this is a positive of this play. He instantly understands what's happening. I need to get there and make this happen. But this is a veteran running back. This is A.J. Dillon. Dillon sees this right away. Sees McKinley Jackson, eyes on him. We got two guys that are processing like starters. And they see this play. We're 1 second into this play. And Dillon goes, oh, I need to cut it back. And he does. And he does a great job of it. And I can't expect McKinley Jackson to make that tackle because he's going to crush him at where the play is supposed to go. But it's a miss, and it's a bad miss. But otherwise, McKinley Jackson had a fantastic day against the Eagles. Different position than Chris Jenkins. But I thought both guys, if that's year 2 at defensive tackle, woo, I feel much better about that room. Really, really impressive stuff for the two of them. Shamar Stewart now. Less impressive, but more interesting maybe. As we are talking about his hand usage, every time we see Trey Hendrickson at camp talking to Shamar, he's trying to get him to do this two-hand swipe more efficiently, to make sure you're balanced and this leg is landing at the right time with turning your body. Like he's just, you can see the way Trey shows him and where he's struggling. He's just flailing his arms out there. Watch it again. I mean, the guy's not punching. What did you swipe? What did you swipe right there? I do like he's playing defensive tackle. I think he's going to do that a bunch. Here he is at left end, stunting. Nothing much to see there. Right end now, defend the run, right? Let's get you to set that edge against the run because you should be able to do that. You did that well at Texas A&M. And working his way back inside. So really good job setting the edge right here. You're underneath. You're not giving up any ground. Forcing the running back to cut it back inside. That's, you did your job, regardless of what happens with the rest of the play. I think this is the one where he's kind of left unblocked there. Maybe a bit of miscommunication. I'm going to go back and get it again because I don't want to completely say not give him credit for it. He does have to get, once he realizes here, I'm not getting blocked. We have guys to defend the quarterback. I think that's Lux again. We have guys to defend the quarterback. Should say Howard Cross here with the penetration. Eagles just fumbled this play from a blocking standpoint completely. Once Stewart's here and realizes, I don't got backside, I don't got to worry about it. Watch when he puts it in the drive and goes to make this tackle. That's what we're looking for. He and Cross are going to stunt, and Bull in a China shop ends up on the ground. Not what we're looking for. He is physical. We know this. He will run into a brick wall and ask questions later. Great. That's what you want on defense. But that worked much more in college than it will in the NFL, even against backups. As you see right here, he runs full speed into that guard. The guard just eats it and drops him. It's pretty funny. So that's your welcome to the NFL moment. And hey, we get a pressure and a hit on the QB, but how repeatable is this for Shamar Stewart? Here's the move. Missed again. I can't believe he missed on this. When I first saw it, I thought his two-hand swipe hit. I was like, ooh, there you go, Shamar. Great during the live view. And then when I got to the tape, I said, oh, he missed. But he's bigger, stronger, more athletic, and plays at 100 miles an hour, so he can reach 9 feet to get a hand on the quarterback here. And because he's playing so hard, he's going to get a full hit on that guy. One arm held behind him because he never broke the arm of the lineman. The lineman still got him. So that's Shamar completely. I made the comment, and I'm going to keep doing it because they've done it in practice as well. But teams that leave Shamar unblocked are making fun choices this year because this guy, once he gets to that point, you're going to outrun that? You're not going to outrun that. Not only are you not going to outrun it, but the window to throw through, if I see if I can get it. Oh, it just missed his hand. That is going to be tough. I think Shamar's going to have a bunch of batted passes. Once he understands how they're attacking him and what's going on, I think that might be the other part of it. You can jump in the air and get close, but we need you to know what's happening. I think this one, he got punched in the face again on the twist. No, he just tripped over 94. That's a different play then. This might be it. This is the play. So it's kind of funny because that's his own arm right there. That's his orange glove right here, punching himself in the face. And so he went to go swipe the hand, and the lineman just went boom and just hit him and said, yeah, your hands aren't landing just yet there, young boy. And then he gets hit by the center coming across. Again, getting punched right in the face, right? As soon as this play happens, we got a jump set by the right tackle. Shamar's not ready for it. Bam! Stoned completely, and that ball's out. Setting the edge again. Let's set the edge again. Let's bring it back because this one is not as good as the previous play. And it's largely due to hand usage. As you see that hand is up at the shoulder neck area of this lineman and ends up in the underneath the helmet. You want that in the chest and in that area. You want to get it on their chest pad if you can and really lift that guy. And we're going to talk about hand placement where Shamar's hands land a lot throughout his rookie season and into his career, right? But he does a good enough job holding this guy at bay. But afterwards, as he gets put in a spin cycle a little bit there as his play gets cut back. So he did his job in forcing the cutback. But we'd like better hand placement there because you could probably potentially make the play and get to it. And there's not a lot going on here. You're going to see him a lot of defensive tackle, a lot of stunning inside and trying to go against guards and centers, which could be very beneficial to him, I think, in the NFL. I think some of his stiffness and his extra superpower of being athletic, is any of them try a move there, will work against interior linemen much more. So that closes the book on the Bengals-Eagles preseason week 1 game. Again, I think Chris Jenkins was fantastic. I thought McKinley Jackson deserves to play earlier and more often. And I think Shamar Stewart is a project, of course, and we knew that. So nothing really surprising on his end. It gives us a line to know how far he's grown this year. Hopefully he grows really far, and at the end of the year, he's great. He's going to play a ton. He's at least going to be disruptive and be a big, strong guy that goes 100 miles an hour. But I honestly, that footage, I hope we continue to see this from McKinley Jackson and Chris Jenkins. Those guys didn't play a ton last preseason. Remember, they started the season hurt. So maybe they're just preseason guys, or clearly a cut above some of these guys they're playing against. But that's a good Eagles offensive line. And I thought their vision was good. Their mechanics were good. Technique good. Everything looked great. Then they had a bunch of tackles as well. So excited for those two to take that step in year 2. And if they do, that defensive tackle room looks much better. Remember, they only brought in those 2 undrafted guys, Eric Gregory and Howard Cross. That's the name. And Howard Cross is getting first team reps somehow. So I did want to talk about this. I still think it's Slayton and McKinley Jackson for nose. I think defensive tackle, it's still BJ Hill, Chris Jenkins, and then Taven Bryan, or Howard Cross. Which one of those guys makes the roster from that spot there? I think Bryan is the veteran. I would rather have Bryan, especially in pass rush situations. He can kick out the end. He can do a bunch of things. They're going to be very multiple on the front. I would like that. And I think you can get Cross on the practice squad. But the Al Golden factor comes in. Do they really, really like the upside of Cross? Golden has seen Cross when he was better. He probably has a high opinion of him. He's giving him these first team reps. They must think he's going to be good. So if they pick him over Bryan, I won't be shocked. That guy's probably inactive on game day anyway, as long as BJ Hill's ready to go. That 5th guy being inactive. So keep Cross if you think the future is there. And maybe you can keep Taven Bryan on your practice squad because veteran guys can do that. Now, Bengals Commanders will have a quick reaction video for you on Tuesday, and then we'll get to the film right after that for Friday's episode of next week. So until the next time on Bengals on the Brain, presented by First Star Logistics, it is Hoo Day.